Hi everyone and welcome back to the Torok channel. First things first, I'm going much better now. I'm in normal shape, or pretty much 99% normal shape, just a little bit of pain still in my the back of my right shoulder, but really nothing bad. I can now play guitar as much as I want, so I can go back to the normal content of this channel with a lot of reviews, and I have really planned to do several reviews. And especially a series of reviews that starts with this one that I have called Big Brand Small Prices, because well, we all know in which period we live. We all know how the prices have been kicked up, so we all have to buy some food, we all have to heat our houses, we all have to buy fuel or electricity to move with our cars, with our motorbikes, or pretty much everything. And so the budget we can concentrate to buying guitars and gears is potentially a bit lower than it was before. So I've always been searching for the best possible rig for the best possible price, but I think that today, and especially with the Christmas Eve coming very quickly, I thought it was really a good time to analyze what the big brands have to offer for either the beginners or for your children if you have some and you want to offer them their first electric guitar. And so, okay, I'm gonna do something a bit special for this series of video. I'm gonna play the same demo track with the exact same amp, overdrive and pretty much everything set up. With the same pick, with my same right hand and left hand, pretty much, okay, all the time. So the idea behind this is to let you compare the tones of the different guitars I'm gonna demo and review, and of course you can compare the result of the reviews. And so maybe it's gonna help you decide which guitar is the best, either for yourself or for your kid or for your brother, your cousin up. I don't know who, but okay, if you want to offer a first electric guitar to somebody, well, you will have clues on what to buy or maybe what to avoid. Okay, and this series of video is going to start with this Ibanez. And okay, I'm gonna unbox it right now, so here we go. Okay, so here is this little Ibanez. I'm gonna tell you its true name right now. JR 221PA AQB. I know that AQB stands for Aqua Burst. Yeah, nice. And since this Ibanez is part of the GIO series, I'm gonna call it Ibanez GIO for the rest of this video. Okay, so, well, it looks nice. It looks really cool. You've got here a glossy finish with something that looks like a poplar burl, but which is not a poplar burl, because I know that this is printed. But hey, for something that's just printed, I think it does look pretty damn cool. Okay, so the frets, first things I check out on a guitar. Looks okay. The polish job is far from perfect, but that's something I was expecting because we are on the 268 or 9 euros, I don't know, well, let's say 270, okay, guitars with a very good finish, I must say. There's nothing wrong with it. You've got a neck that feels a bit thicker than the Wizard 3 I had on the Ibanez GA42. I have made a review about this guitar. You will find the link up there. Okay, so this one comes with, again, the 5-way blade. Two Ibanez pickups that are not the Ibanez Quantum I had last time. They kind of look like what you could find on some EMG, but they are passive, as you can notice. Because there's no battery compartment. Okay, this is pretty much something that's not the total entry level from Ibanez, but a very affordable guitar, and I try and manage and staying under 300 euros for this series of video. And from this point on, I choose, well, the one I do prefer, I guess, at least from a visual point of view, because, well, this thing was really looking very cool with its pretty aggressive headstock, with its shark tooth inlays. So for an early beginner who wants to start playing with a lot of style, I think this one is doing a good job. Now, question is, how will it sound? How will it play? And that's what we're gonna discover through the demo in the mix right now. Okay, so what you've just heard is this Ibanez GIO, and of course we're going to talk about what you couldn't see here, so the demo. But just before we go there, I would like to ask you subscribe to this channel if it's not already done. Leave thumbs up under my videos because YouTube algorithms are loving it, and also share my videos on socials so more people come and visit the channel, and potentially more people come and subscribe to this channel. Now, if you order anything from my partner Toman, this guitar, another guitar, a bass, saxophone, piano, anything, please use my partner link that's going to be in the description down below. For you it's going to be the exact same thing as any order you would pass in Toman, and for me it's going to be a precious help to make more content on the channel. You have to know that when you click my link, you are on the French page of Toman. So if you want to change it, you just have to click on top right, choose your own language, and there you are. Now, if you want to make 100% sure that you are already on my partner page, you can use the second link in the video description down below. It's gonna lead you to a list of highly recommended gear, and so you will see my banner, my logo, and pretty much everything that identifies the channel. And then, of course, you can choose everything you want, even if it's not in my list. Okay, so thanks in advance for your help, and now let's go back to this guitar. I will start again with the headstock. This time you've got a very nice matching headstock, and since this guitar is really very nice, pretty good thing that you have the matching headstock. You've got this truss rod cover that's just very classic, but so it's different from what I had on the RGA42 by Ibanez still. You had this easy access truss rods, you don't have it this time. It's a pity, but okay, we are on a lower budget guitar, so I think it should be no surprise. The nut, my good friend the nut, my good old buddy friend that has stopped me from putting my usual 10 to 52 string gauge because the slots are much too narrow, and since I don't have professional files I couldn't find it correctly. My good old friend the nut, that when I started changing the strings has decided to take a bit of holiday, so it has moved away, had to glue it again. I think it's the worst thing on this guitar is this nut. It also holds the string, so sometimes, you know, your string is in tune and suddenly you play a bend and you realize that you have lost a quarter tone because suddenly Mr. Nut has decided to release the string. So, okay, if you have something to change on this guitar, start with this. Anyway, okay, the frets, I have already talked about it, but I'm gonna talk about it again. So, nothing bad with the edges of the fret. You have to know that in the same time that I have changed the strings, I have oiled the fingerboard, it was super dry. I have polished the frets because I don't like the stupid scratches I had in the unboxing. I have also had to set up the curve of the neck because it was too flat, and the intonation. So the reason why I have chosen some 10 to 46 strings is because, well, that's something I had at home, and I could not go for 10 to 52. So the action is a bit higher than one I'm used to having, because 10 to 46 you don't have the same amount of tension than with 10 to 52, logical. And that may be because of this, that you have those scratches when my finger moves from one position to another. Very unpleasant, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's because of this, maybe that's something else, but really, after thinking for a while, I think that the action is higher, so my finger position, I mean, I'm used to playing with a certain height on the strings, so if it's higher, well, maybe my usual moves are not good, and I had to struggle with the noise. So anyway, so okay, back to the rest of the guitar. As I've already mentioned, the finish is pretty good, really nice, have seen no flaws. The 5-way blade is okay. The volume part works, but I find it a bit loose. I wish it had more grip. The tone pot has a very good grip, even though I'm not using the tone pot anyway. The bridge is okay, very comfortable. You've got enough room for putting your palm here. The setup for the intonation was okay. The only thing I have to mention, but that's something that, I mean, it doesn't stop the guitar from working normally, but you feel that all the hardware, the pieces of metal especially, you don't have the feeling you've got some top high quality metal here or on the tuners. Again, it doesn't stop it from working normally and very correctly, but you gotta wonder if this thing is made for lasting. Okay, maybe that's just me. Maybe if you really enjoy the guitar, you will change the bridge and the tuners for something better. Of course, don't forget to start with the nut. You can put the best tuners in the world. If you keep that crappy nut, it will not change anything. Okay, apart from that, really a good guitar with a neck shape that's really different from what I'm used to seeing on Ibanez. You know, they are specialists for ultra slim necks. Sometimes on top-end guitars from Ibanez you've got a neck that's 17 to 19, and you know, I cannot imagine myself playing with such a thin neck. The wizardry I had on the GIO was really good, 19 to 21, and okay. This one is thicker. I think it's 20 to 22, something like that. You've got shapes that's between U and D, so you've got really large shoulders. It's not your usual shredder's neck, but okay, since this guitar is made for beginners, I mean, it does make sense. Even the radius, you've got a 14 inches radius when usually with Ibanez you've got 16 inches, but I think that's for the comfort of early beginners, because when you want to play your classic chords like this, if you've got a super thin neck with a super flat radius, when you're an early beginner, you don't feel very comfortable with that. So 14 inches, very good point is the 43 millimeters thickness on the nut. Width, sorry, 43 millimeters width on the nut, not thickness, it would be a bit too much. Yeah, so I really believe that Ibanez has really been thinking about beginners when they have built this guitar, which doesn't stop me from thinking about it as a potential mod project, and maybe that's what you have in mind. If you go there, well, the quality of the entire thing is not the same as on the GIO. The wood, especially the wood of the body, is cheaper. Maybe you will prefer the tone of this type of wood, but I think I would put my money on the GIO for a mod project. But for a beginner's guitar, I mean, you have to consider that after several years of developing your skills and playing better, you will anyway feel like going for some better stuff. Better guitar, better amp, better everything. So I think for the first steps, for a beginner, this guitar is satisfying because the neck is comfortable and pretty versatile. That's not always what you have on Ibanez. I'm gonna talk about other brands when I make other videos about other guitars, but okay, so I think I have said it all about what you can see here. So now is the time to play this guitar alone. So clean, dirty, of course. I'm gonna show you the effects of the volume and tone pot on the tone you get, and I'm gonna show you if this guitar has a neck dive or not, so if you can play standing comfortably or not, and then I'll be back for the conclusion. Here we go. Okay, so does this Ibanez GIO have a neck dive? Let's check it out. Okay, well, no problem. It is pretty well balanced, so you can play standing, no problem. Okay, so what I'm gonna do as a conclusion is give some grades to this guitar, something I'm not used to doing, but since I'm gonna review several guitars in this big brand, small prices category, I think giving grade is gonna help you compare the different guitars I'm gonna review. Okay, so I will start with giving a grade for the tone, because we've just heard this guitar played alone. The bridge pickup sounds very thin. The output for me is not high enough, so I really had to push the gain very high in order to have some interesting sounding chugs. I didn't like it, but in the other hand, I do appreciate the clean tone, especially on the neck pickup or in the middle position. Well, okay, since I'm mainly a middle guitar player, I think the good grade for the tone is 5 on 10. Now I'm gonna give a grade for the playability. So the guitar is very well balanced, the access to the higher frets very good. The neck could maybe be a tiny bit thinner, but it's versatile and it works, so not a real problem. But I'm also considering the polish job on the fret. It's part of the playability and the tuning stability that's provided with this nut. And of course I have to to give some less good grades because of these 2 points, even though okay, you can file the frets by yourself and improve them, but the nut as it is out of the box is really bad. So for the playability, okay, let's be nice, let's say 7. Now for the aesthetics. Well, the aesthetics is really very cool, as I have already mentioned. And yeah, I think that in this price range, it will be very complicated for me to find a better looking guitar. So I'm gonna give it an 8 on 10 because yeah, really very good job. And so now I'm gonna give a global grade to sum up pretty much all I think about this guitar. It's not so easy, because if I consider it from the point of view of a beginner, for whom it would be the first guitar, I think this guitar deserves a 7, because as far as the tone goes, you will certainly start playing with a cheap amp, so solid state, 15, 20, 25 watts combo, something like that, and you will not pay that much attention to the tone of the pickups, because the main thing you have to know if you're not a beginner, the tone first comes from the cab, then from the amp, and then from the pickups. Okay, so the pickups are minus in the global tone you get, so you will not pay attention to that. So if I was only thinking about early beginners, the global grade for this guitar would be 7. Now, if I think about it as a mod project from someone who's not a beginner, someone who's intermediate, someone who just enjoy the way this thing looks and wants to make it something better, this time I'm gonna give the grade of 6 because, as I've mentioned during the review, the metal components that are the bridge and the tuners really feel cheap, so I think in time you will have to change it, even though they work correctly. You of course have to change the nut, the pickups, that's a lot of things to change, and that's something you would not have to change if you had another Ibanez, for instance the AGA42, which was much better in terms of quality. So, but for a beginner again, since you're certainly not gonna keep this guitar like forever, yeah, it's a good thing. It's a very good guitar to play, but really think about changing the nut. Okay, well, I think I said it all about these guitars. Thanks for watching this video. Next one in the big brand, small price category will be an LTD, so stay tuned to the Torok channel. See you soon.